Hey guys, welcome to the next part in our GitLab HA series here. So in our last video, we configured the Redis cache service, and in this one, we will actually probably just make it so that we only set up the Praefect DB server, because if doing that plus the Praefect service, there's going to be just a lot of work to do there. So we're going to try to keep this video short and neat, but the Praefect DB server, it's running Postgres, and it's actually only a single server. So this technically isn't fully HA. So this is the only thing that really isn't like HA in their docs. But you can configure it so that if you want to use a third-party Postgres server that supports HA, that would work too. But based off of the documentation, if you want to go through this route, this would be a standalone Postgres server essentially. So if this goes down, your Praefect stuff might not work. But we're going to go through it just to show you guys how you could do it. So let's get started. All right, so we need to configure the Praefect server, which will just be another Postgres server. We got the IP here. We're going to follow the same installation stuff as well. The thing here is we will actually need to create another password for the Praefect Postgres server. So we'll actually add to our list Praefect Postgres, and we will create another password here, and regenerate new password, copy that, paste that, and we will need to do the hashing as well so that we can input it. So we'll actually run this command, and you can run this on an existing node already. So like, for example, I was just in the GitLab Redis, so I can just run it in the Redis one as well. It just needs GitLab to be installed so that it can generate the hash essentially. So we'll copy this, paste that, and then get the hash. So this doesn't necessarily need to be on like, the Postgres node specifically. And so we can go back to the documentation and then do the configuration for our GitLab RB. So there isn't too much to it, and taking a look, there is actual post configuration steps that we'll need to take a look at. So we'll want to run these manually. And this will configure the database in regards to how to configure it. So we'll worry about that after we get all the GitLab RB file configured. So what we're going to do is start off at the top again. So roles, and we'll add a new entry here. Conditional else if we're going to call it Praefect DB in inventory host name. So we'll have a little bit of interesting situation, because we'll have to, when we do the Praefect service, we'll have to do Praefect but not DB in it. So it's just bad naming, but I could have tagged it. I like to do it off the name of the host, because most likely you can probably name your VM so that hey, this is a Redis server or Praefect server, right? So we'll do roles. So we got the Postgres role as well as the console role, and that should be good here. Let's just double check everything looks good. Yep. And then we will do the listen address. So let's take a look at the listen address. So or Praefect DB in inventory host name. For that, we'll make sure GitLab Rails auto migrate isn't set either, because we don't want that to be set. So or Praefect DB in inventory host name. We'll do the console service, make sure that is set to true, and that is set to true. So we'll add that as another statement here, or Praefect DB in inventory host name. And then we got the configuration here. So we'll configure the Postgres password here. So in this case, we got if Postgres, because we actually named it Postgres in for the other server. So we can do an else if Praefect DB in inventory host name. Make sure you do that. We will create another entry, because these will be separate passwords. These won't be the same password hash. So we'll do this Praefect and quote it, And that should be set for that. Then we'll go to the trust CIDRs, which I think we can keep the same because essentially it'll be in the same network. So we'll just add or Praefect DB in inventory host name. And then we'll set the node exporter and Postgres exporter. So in here, we'll just do or Praefect DB in inventory host name. And then Postgres exporter or Praefect DB in inventory host name. And then the console configuration here. Or Praefect DB in inventory hostname. And that should be it. So we can commit this. So configure. Yeah. Praefect DB is what we'll do. So we will save that, and then that should essentially run and get ready. So this will install, this playbook will install GitLab, update the configuration, restart GitLab, or reconfigure GitLab and restart it. Then we'll do the post configuration steps here once that is done. So what we can do here is launch, and we'll just do GitLab Praefect DB and launch that. So it should now launch this configuration. I should probably have made sure that the repository actually finished. Oh, okay. So the inventory thing's still running. Nice. So once that's finished running, this will start, and then we can run these commands on the Postgres node. That should be localhost. This would be the database password. Oh, I'll have to create a new user. So this will be creating a new user. So log in, create the new user, and then create the database with the encoding is essentially what it'll be doing. Well, that playbook was way too quick. No, no hostname smash. Give me a second. Perfect. Oh, did I just type it in wrong? Oh, I forgot the E, guys. Okay, so that makes me now question my life if I type this in wrong anywhere else. Praefect. Yeah, I forgot the E. Praefect. Replace all. Fix name. That's what happens when you type it. Prae. Praefect. So I typed it in wrong 11 times in here. So that's interesting. Yeah, I typed it in wrong. I mean, I can believe it. I can totally believe that I typed it in wrong. Okay, so that's inventory syncing. So now we can rerun the job on the right host. GitLab HA. And then we should be golden. GitLab Pray with an E. In fact, DP. I still got one more video to actually create the actual Praefect service too. So I have so many more opportunities to fail typing it in. So, but this will go. It will probably take a few minutes because it will have to do all the installing of GitLab and configuration. So we will, once this is finished, we will resume and do the post configuration steps. All right, so that finished with no errors, which is great because that's the last thing you want to run into. So let's move our terminal window over here, but we can log in to our server if we type in the server name in, right? Here we go. It looks right. And we're in. So we can now run the following commands. So we can run this. The Postgres server is going to just be on itself. So we can log in like that. So now we're logged in. We'll want to create the user with the password. So it's just the password. So let's just notepad it up here real quick so that it's all in one thing. And you do need the quotes, it looks like. So let's do this. I am not a DBA person whatsoever. So, oh, there we go. Hopefully that worked. Okay, so I created the new user. So now we should be able to log back out, log in as that user. So log in 127. User Praefect. Was there something more to that? Oh, did I miss the? I wonder if I didn't have the semicolon in the previous command. Give me a second. Let's log back in. Let's get this with the semicolon. Copy this, paste that. Okay, yeah. Oh, this is so weird. Apparently copying from Notepad. Okay, there it is. Copying from Notepad apparently doesn't work out very well. This is why I use a Mac for the most part. But I'm using a remote desktop for my videos to make it a little bit easier for people who do use Windows. And then here we go. Now we can log in with this user. Okay, so now that user exists, and then we should be able to create the database for this. Paste that. Yes, paste. Okay, it creates multiple lines. Oh man. Okay, we can type it. We can type it. Create a database. Praefect production with encoding equals UTF-8. Boom. Done. And then let's see. Perfect router must configure. Okay, so that's all for the database. Now we got the perfect stuff to configure, which we'll do in our next video. So that is how you configure the Perfect databases so that you can hook up your Perfect to your Postgres instance here if you need to. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Bye.